Hey everyone, Corey here. I'm coming in to do the energy update for October 2024. Recording this on September the 30th, so I would like to take a moment and recognize Truth and Reconciliation Day. I am of the Mi'kmaq First Nations community, and it's always an honor to be able to be a part of such beautiful, blended in diversity and love ancestors in my own family. So I just want to bring that to the forefront first, because I think it's so important that we do not forget where we have come from, to not forget what we have been through, and to not forget that, there's many things of the past that we not only needed to heal, but we need to correct. And that's in culture, that's in countries, that's everywhere, and even in our own personal lives. So our past is a good way to be able to use as a good roadmap or a way to be able to blueprint what we need to do and who we need to be to move forward. And bringing this in to the energy of October. So as we're moving through October, there is an alien energy that has entered in, and I'm not sure what to do with this alien energy. So we have this like a baby moon, like there's this little moon that is circulating around in the energy, and it is orbiting around the moon. And I didn't know what this alien energy was when I first started to feel it, see it, and I'm like, what is this? It feels as if something has come into our awareness and we don't know what to do with it. And it has this power, as much as it's not supposed to be able to, it doesn't influence us energy wise, it drastically influences us. So this energy that is coming into October has a big influence on us. As much as they say it don't, I'm feeling it, I'm connecting to it, I'm seeing it, and I can feel it in my heart, I can feel it in my body. There is something that is, it's just not, it's unfamiliar. And that's kind of what the unknown is, right? That's what the future is. It's so unknown. Sometimes when we have to do something out of character, when we have to make change, we don't know how to show up. We don't know what we're supposed to do. And we fumble through and we come up with, there's always a lot of opinions and views. And it also comes with a lot of, maybe anger, hurt, old pain stories come up. And so the new beginnings are always a painful journey, and it's a painful journey into creation. And so that's what it feels like we are in. And it's like, there's something new. And I don't feel like this energy is going to be something it's going to leave us with something. So we're going to be finding October is going to leave us with some sort of story or narrative or change that we can't turn a blind eye to anymore. So I do feel like there is, like I said, there's alien energy. We have an alien energy that has entered in to the energy, and I'm trying to really truly connect to it. And so I'm fumbling my way through a little bit because it is foreign and it is fooling with me. It's tricking me a little bit. It's tripping me up. So I'm going to leave it for a minute, and I'm going to go on with all the rest of the energy that I'm seeing, that I'm feeling, that I'm sensing. And I'm just going to trust that there is somebody's tickling my nose. Somebody's tickling I got so much. So we have moved into October, or we're moving into October. The presence of spirit right now is so crazy. The things that are happening in my home and around my granddaughter's little kitchen, their play kitchen has a little stove top, and when you put a pot on it, it bubbles, makes like little lights start to flash, and it sounds like boiling water, and it makes this bubbling noise. Well, last weekend it started to bubble, and it was all after I got home from the Métis crossing. I said, I think I brought home some visitors with me, but there was it was bubbling, and there was nothing on there. There was no little pot on it. The batteries weren't going. This week, the kids were using it just fine, and it worked. But for whatever reason, whoever that spirit was, it was playing around with us. Like it was really trying to get our attention. So the spirit world is really trying to get our attention right now. We have some real powerful conversations to have. And those real powerful conversations to have are sometimes not with the people who are in our lives right now. It is with the spirit world. It is with the those of the past. So it's like this time of where there is this great consulting energy where wisdom comes forth, but it's wisdom that's coming from the divine and not coming from the human source of the existence. It's coming from greater wisdom. It's what soul knows as soul and not as its human experience, what it took from the experience and then filtered it through and bringing it back to wisdom. So when humans leave this earth and they return to spirit, they don't take the human journey and bring it all over there, because that would become foreign energy, and it would make heaven like earth, and it can't be like earth at all. It can't. This has to stay pure, and so only purity returns home. And so this purity, and so when we go, whatever we go through on earth, it gets filtered through. So we take the lessons, we take the wisdom that was gained, and we bring that forth and we bring that through. And so in this month of October, it is really, truly a great time to be able to sit and gain wisdom. It's how we get trapped into, this is the way it was, this is the only way that we can do it. My grandparents did it this way, so this is the only way. And if you could talk to your grandparents now, chances are they're telling you, get over it. You don't need to do it the way that I did it, because the way that I did it was the long way, it was the hard way, and you didn't see why I did it. So if it's a family dinner or it's a family gathering, you're like, well, my grandmother was always in the kitchen and she had her apron on and she loved to cook and she loved to do this. What if she never had a choice? And what if the person that you maybe thought was the grandfather that was always there to make sure the family looked like the family, maybe wasn't the same person to his wife or to the woman when it was just the man and the woman together. And this is where this month is about perspective. It's about seeing things for seeing things through the lens of a deeper truth. If we could see things through the lens of a deeper truth, the things we believe to be true may not be the same truth. And it's by freeing the past of the truth that we hold it to, it gives us the opportunity to free ourselves of all of the restrictions and the limitations that we place upon ourselves to be a certain way, to live a certain way, and to not be willing to move beyond, because we seen the picture of what was painted for us. And then we also, same thing, we speak a lot about this in all of our writings as healers, as content creators, speak about, the fact of our unresolved hurts and pains. And so we see our parents, we see our grandparents, we see our community, we see the people, but we don't see what else was happening. It's so easy to get ourselves trapped in the entrapment story of, this is the way somebody is. And I'm going to bring this all the way back to, I remember a few years ago when everybody was on, and it was on this hate story, I guess. I mean, it's still happening, of course. But what my response would be, they say, how do you feel about this person? I just hate them. I don't like, this person is mean, they're cruel, this is what they're like. And my stop to it was always, oh, so you personally have met them? And they're like, well, no, I would never want to meet them. And I said, well, how do you know? Well, how do you know you'd never want to meet them? How do you know that's who they are? Well, that's what the news says. Well, it's secondhand news, third, fourth, fifth. It is intention, right? There is an intention behind the narrative, the story that is being told. It's to either make somebody else look better, is to make somebody else look bad, is to stir up hate, anger, division, divide. And what spirit is coming through to tell us, and what spirit is trying to tell us from the untainted, from the pure energy, is to really look at where the division is and look at the stories that divide us. Look at the thoughts that divide us. Look at the stuff that takes us further away from ourselves, of where we get separated from ourselves, where we move away from ourselves. And I'm going to bring this into ourselves right now. I'm going to bring this in. And so this is where this foreign energy is really coming in, because I feel like there's a divine presence in this foreign energy. And so bring it back into ourselves. So you may have the image, I'm not good enough. I'm not the right person. I look in the mirror and all I see is, I'm going to use this word, and I'm going to use it very light. I'm going to use it very, without any intention. You look into your image in your own mirror, and all you see is, I'm obese, I'm fat, I'm too big, I'm flabby. I'm thinking of terminology that I would have used myself over the years. And then, but you would have heard that language. You would have heard what that language meant. Even if it wasn't said directly to you, you would have seen a picture. You would have seen an image. You would have seen skinny versus fat. You would have seen this. So this has been presented to you. And so when you look in, because it's been presented to you, you already have a preconceived, we all do, of a preconceived thought. We've been conditioned. And when you look in, it's like, oh, well, I'm fat. I'm obese. If you have one size of jeans and then they don't fit, and you go to put on a nut, and then you're like, they're too tight, and you're like, well, I got fat. Well, no, your body changed size. So let's just say it like this. So instead of saying I got fat, it's just saying my body has changed size. My body has changed. And so we took out the hurtful part of the conversation, which brings us to shame, guilt, which divides us from ourselves. So then we start separating from ourselves. And it's so easy to become separated from our truth. And over the years, over lifetimes of being on this earth, we have become separated from truth. We have lost truth. And there is always a truth that is greater than the truth that you tell yourself, greater than the truth that divides us. And what happens with truth is that one truth can really, truly be what creates this vortex of energy that becomes a storm, that becomes this tornado of energy. And we create it. And especially if it's in a collective group. And in the collective group energy, it's like, this is the way it is, and this is this, and this is that. And before you know it, we are breeding self-hate. We're breeding hate. We're breeding divide. We're creating, we're cultivating something. And in that cultivation, that spreads. And it spreads out, and it becomes the thoughts. And it is hard to return back to those thoughts. And so when we get to a new truth, that all that you may hear, let's just say you lose weight, and then you get back into a healthy body, so-called healthy, into what you're calling a healthy body. You're like, oh yeah, this is my body, and I'm never getting fat again. I'm never doing that to myself again. So there is a natural born hate. Hate is cultivated. Hate is not born in us. Anger is a natural response. But anger blended with hate, love blended with hurt and pain, all becomes a diluted version of its original source. And so to be able to return to the original source, to be able to get back to the original, the only way that you would know some of the deep truth is to be able to communicate to the original, communicate to where it all first began. Secondhand news is secondhand news. News that divides us, news that comes from with an agenda, is a half a truth. It is never really a full truth. So, when we look at it in the way of, do we know somebody? It's like, okay, so how do I know me? How do I know me? How do I know how do I know me? You know you through your stories. You know you through all of those intentions, those thoughts, those opinions, those knowledge. But do you know the original you? And the original you goes a long way back, and that's where your authenticity exists. And authenticity is not the place of where we make peace, is when we get back all the way to this authenticity and we start to create the freedom, because we set the past free. We set everything free. We set ourselves free. We set ourselves free of trying to keep up and become legends to something that is not even truly a full legend, right? We have all of these half-hearted truths. And we think about, if you think about grandparents again, and you're like, oh, well, my grandmother made bread and she did this and she did that, and I'm going to get back to doing that because that's what she did. If she had a choice, would she made a different choice? If she could have done something different, would she have done something different? How do you know? What if you could speak to her? What if you took the time to sit and ask spirit what they would say, and see how fast your ego can come in, because it's so easy to cultivate and create a story, a narrative. And so much of the pressures, so much of the divide that we have is because we are existing in the versions of the stories that we have made legends that we live by. And when we stop creating and living in the legends that we have created through, that we now live by, and we see that they're filled with half-hearted truths, and that we can see there is so much more to the story. So October is, what else is to the story? There's so much more to the story. There's so much more to who we are. There's so much more to who you are. And so it's so easy to get distracted, because this energy and what this energy is bringing in and what I'm picking up from this energy is the presence of the divine. And it's so hard to stay in the divine light. It's so hard to stay in the light of the angelic realm. It's something where it takes practice to stay in that level of consciousness, that level of communication, without, because it's so easy to fall. It's so easy to fall out. One thought drops us like this, and then we got to climb back up again. But a big thought will take us all the way out. Someone rings the doorbell, we're gone, we're done, we're out. It's always that sense of what could intercept, what could interrupt. And so we have all of these interruptions. We have all of this energy that is trying to move us farther away from getting closer to divine, and getting farther away, so that we never know a truth, that we never come back to truth. Because what happens if we all return to an original source, original truth? That many of the stories we've been told don't really hold the same weight. Things there is a new truth. And what do we do with those new truths? So as we heal, we are awakening to new truths. We're discovering new truths. We're finding out new things. We're learning things about ourselves, or about life, and about the world. And October is coming in with a massive punch. It has so much influence. Now, on the 2nd and the 3rd of October, we are moving into the new moon energy, which is also in a solar eclipse energy. And I'm feeling that this solar eclipse it amplifies the light. Everything is telling me that we have an entrance, a divine entrance coming in. There's a divine portal energy that's opening up. And it gives us an opportunity to really, truly begin to move farther away from the old stories and move closer to a new truth, closer to coming home, closer to coming home. So this is I'm having a hard time staying with this one. I'm not even going to lie. This one is so hard for me to stay with today. I'm listening. So as I'm moving through this eclipse and I'm moving into October, So the beginning was just all kinds of things that are taking place. But as I'm moving through October and I'm seeing October, is that, and a lot of people may argue me on this, but I'm really seeing a level of like pain come to the surface. Pain come to the surface is what I'm seeing. Pain coming to the surface of really, that something that really gives us a visual that we really cannot deny how much we need to be more loving, more kind, more generous, where spirit is really truly coming in on us. I feel like we're being like cocooned into something and wrapped into something so that we can begin a massive awakening where we finally start to awaken to how we, as a collective energy, how we talk about others, how we connect others, how we communicate, how we quickly dismiss, how we take such ownership and such claim to specific things and just say, how big is our ego and how big is our old belief systems that it has such power to cause this. And where did those belief systems really come from? Where did we get those? And why are we so willing to go to war for something, for ego? Why are we so willing to live our lives from the shadows? We're here to come forward. We're here to move forward. We're here to bring forth and give birth to a new time, a new energy. So this alien energy that I'm really picking up, I feel as if I am really connecting to such a high vibrating frequency of love that it almost appears to be anger. It's very exhausting. It's very overpowering, but it's also going to bring in a lot of life-changing experiences and sequence of events. So October is filled with a lot of life-changing, life-altering events, and we're feeling it on a big scale, on a collective scale. It's like everything is shifting, and the way I'm seeing it, it sounds like the Earth's plates are moving and things are moving like this, and it's like those 3D images of where you put something together and then it's like little like you see the little wheels turn and all the little teeth move like this, and then everything comes apart and then everything goes back together. That's what I'm seeing. So I'm seeing something like this, and it just feels like it opens up. So this 3D imaging, 5D imaging, right? Like we're moving through the image, and I'm getting this image of all these wheels. And I do know that in the angelic realm, when I'm seeing wheels, I know that we're diving deep, we're mining for something. And so we're opening up to extract something. So out of what is coming feels as if it's like there's movement happening. And whether or not our earth actually shifts or moves, but there is something that is shaking up even the universe, right? I feel as if it's something shifting with earth. There is something big, like one of the plates are moving, something is shifting. And it feels like a sequence of events of several plates probably moving at the same time. And it just makes us be very aware of the fragility, of how fragile we really are and how vulnerable we really are. And when we find the power to live from our vulnerability without fear, then we're able to come back into a sense of love. And so I'm finding this movement is I felt very exhausting. So it's like something was like tugging at my energy. Something was very much like it was felt very low vibrating. So what I'm getting is that when I'm connecting to the ancestors and the past that are our rooted stories in our root and our earth, it's heavy. It weighs me down. And it's not a good or bad. It's not a judgment. It's a difference in energy. It's a lower vibrational energy. And as I start to come up into the roots that come out through up here, and I'm connecting into the divine, I feel as if I'm coming to life. So in the beginning of the month, in the beginning of this month, I feel as if you may feel this kind of like exciting, but also being disappointed. Like planning a Thanksgiving dinner. You get so excited, you're going to reinvent you're going to relive the whole past, and then truth reveals itself. Thanksgiving dinner, Christmas dinner, right? And then truth reveals itself that nothing's like the past. Here we go. There's just this big ass disappointment that sometimes comes with it. And it doesn't mean it's not fun. It don't mean, but that's what we have coming up. That's what we have coming up with it. But we also have an excitement, enthusiasm, but we also have spirit coming in. So I have spirit that's coming in. I have this divine entrance that then brings in this exciting energy, this thrill of life. It feels like it's a very motivating energy. It feels like time to get going, to do things, to take charge. And I feel like when everybody is in motion, but when a lot of people get into motion, when a lot of people start feeling inspired and wanting to do things and wanting to take on things, then we're going to move to the very end of the month. And as we come to the very end of the month, that's when I'm like seeing, wow. I'm like, it's like we're sculpting and creating a new earth, a new world, a new way. But all of these wheels begin to turn. So something is beginning to move into motion. So we may not see these wheels of change happen until November, but there is something that's just going to break our, right? It breaks our dreams apart. It breaks apart truths. It breaks apart the lies. It opens things up. So when we open up Pandora's box, everything comes out. When we open up, when we're mining for something, it opens it up and it either reveals it's there or it's not there. So something is either going to be a great month of treasures, or it's going to really reveal that something is not working, whatever that may be, but it's revealing things. It's opening things up. So we're mining for, this is a month of where we are mining for truths. We're mining for greater wisdom. We're mining for something, but we're going to really, truly discover and find surprises. And we're going to be met with some surprises. We're going to be met with some greatness. And there is this influence of up and down energy. And I could feel it. I'm like, I just want to quit. And I wanted to stop the recording like 2 minutes ago or 3 minutes ago, whenever that was. Few minutes ago, I'm like, I just can't do this. I am too tired. I can't do this, God. You need to let me out. I got to get out of this one today. I don't want to do this today. I can't do this today. And I almost hit the stop button and stop the recording, but my hand wouldn't move. I couldn't get my hand to go there, being moved by spirit. And it's just like, stay with us. Stay with us. So if you're going through a challenging time this month, if you're feeling like backing out or backing down, walking away, don't. Because what this is showing us is that we are in an ending and and here is the new beginning. No matter what keeps appearing, what shows up, what is revealing that says, oh, well, things are not going to work out. Things are going to be this way. Keep going. Keep going. Do not quit on yourself. Do not back down from things. This has got some real trickster kind of energy coming in, and it's to test us, to see if we're willing to go the distance, to do the hard things, to not to sabotage, to not to back down, but also to recognize the power of disappointments, the power of having high expectations and trying to over plan, over control, over dictate, over commit, over tell a story, like growing a story into something that is becoming from your own hurt, your own pains, or whatever it is. Things are not always as it seems, and things are not ever going to be exactly as it seems, but the energy is moving. And so it's like, it'll be so easy to shut things down, be so easy to shut things off. But if we see the whole picture, if we see what is moving, we're deep diving or mining. All I see is like, I feel like I'm holding like a bag of gems, diamonds, gold, cash, like something. I'm holding all of this in my hands. And it just feels like there is some sort of treasure hunt that's in this month's energy, something that is just like, oh my God, like, don't quit. Don't you dare back down. And as I'm sitting here, the shadow is always trying to make itself known. And I'm like, my new hair growing in is standing up on my head, but my hair looks like crap. Why are you wearing this? Why are you wearing this ugly shirt? You got this from the Value Village. Why are you wearing that? Why are you acting? Do you know what you look like today? So everything that I'm sharing in this message, that was especially in the beginning, was also trying to influence me. And I'm like, you are not true. I can hear it. You'll always hear it talking, but what are you giving power to? What are you giving attention to? And where you give your power and your attention is that could track things in. And I've been paddling this back the whole time I've been here. And I'm like, no, Shadow, you're not making an appearance. You're not coming back in. It's not happening. But yet I could still feel how tired I was. So we're feeling the exhaustion, we're feeling the tired, but spirit world is so open right now, which means our spirit our spirit is like susceptible. Our own spirit is connecting. It's like our own little antennas of our spirit. Our soul is being called, and it's being called up, and it's being connecting, and we're connecting into a lot of old past energy. So I'm feeling the root, but I'm also feeling the spiritual roots. We have spiritual ancestors. Our soul has ancestors that are out there that you would not know, that are tied into this greater knowing. And so your ancestors are in this alien energy. Your spiritual ancestors, the divine ancestors, are in this spiritual energy that I'm picking up. Do you want to know your ancestors? Do you want to know your spiritual ancestors? As much as you've been held such conviction to the stories of your human ancestors, what if your spiritual ancestors has something so powerful to share with you? So I'm really picking up that Pleiadian, that energy that I get when the Pleiadians come, and I feel this kind of enthusiastic excitement. But have I met these yet? Do I know these yet? I don't know. I don't think so. And it just feels like, but we do. We know these ancestors. So spirit is communicating, and it's not just the ancestors of the loved ones that you knew. It is the ancestors of that which you do not know, where we originally come from. So what's opening us up and being able to bring us to this is to help us to learn to live from spirit, to know that we don't have to be sitting at the Thanksgiving dinner to love our people. We don't have to keep trying to respond from and react from guilt, shame, having to keep up to anything. Is that we can be love, we can love, we can still care about people, but we can also still live our lives, and we can be a bigger part of something. So it's communicating to us, and I can just feel it as we're moving through, and I feel these wheels moving, and that we're in this deep dive journey. So October is taking us on a deep dive into spirit world, a deep dive into something bigger, something more, and knowing the beginning of the month is really truly the ancestor energy is trying to pull us back down, and I feel like there's something that brings us into, let's just keep believing the same stories, let's just keep being divided, let's just keep acting this way. But what if we all changed? What if we all became so much more like that of the divine? What if we understood the power of the divine hierarchy of order, of how we work when we work in coexisting in such a beautiful way? So there's something that is speaking this to us. Now, in between all of this, the earth itself is shifting. As the light comes on in more and more people, the power of the light is so powerful, and the power of love is so powerful that it is hard for us first when we're ascending and we're simulating into this new energy, is that it feels exhaustion because we're not used to this energy. we're not used to this kind of vibrational frequency. That's the only language I got. I know it take this into quantum physics and and it doesn't really make sense, but it's the only language that I got to be able to use it. If I could put you into my vision so that you can see it as I'm seeing this, is I see this just almost like energy that feels like it's like cheering us on, but we're being called up. We're being called home to something. We're being called into a deeper knowing, a deeper place within us. And when we recognize that we are not separate from our heaven, we're not separate from here, this is all interconnected. It's all of that oneness. So that's the energy, and it's coming in forces. And so you may feel exhausted, tired. You may feel like you don't want to do things. You may feel like backing down. You may feel like whatever it is, don't back down, don't walk away, don't leave. And one of my unexpected things that I experienced today was my cat had been at the vet several times over this past year. And when I first took her, she was decent, she was okay. But then she went to have surgery and she was not very nice in her waking up, apparently. So I had all these horror stories, and my husband had to take her and she almost had to get another surgery. And it's all these horror stories, but how bad she was behaved. So I was prepping this morning to take my cat to the vet to have a really bad experience. And when I got her there, she was so good. And the vet's like, she is such an amazing cat. She has such beautiful temperament. See, different experiences. I had an expectation that actually didn't happen, and we had a beautiful experience. Life may have more beautiful experiences if we could truly let go of our expectations. And so on the other end of all of this, and with this also coming in, because we're seeing this mining energy, because we're seeing this, and we're seeing the entrance and the presence of the angels, the guides, like the just this powerful beam of amazing, beautiful, angelic realms. There is this, the forces of the angels are just working with us, carrying us through. And so if you are a light worker, if you're someone who's been working with the angelic realm, we're really being brought back to work. You're really going to be called up and back to get into the work with the angels, whether it's for yourself or something in your life. It might even be in a creative way, sketching, painting, whatever it may be, but the angels feeling the forces coming back in, and we're being needed for something. But now on the other, swooping in on from the back, coming in over here, is there's always this floodgate of this back energy, which brings us into the climate that we have of environments. And so there is, at the end of the month, I feel as if we have the possibility of close calls or close misses, like something can be very close to unfolding or happening. And we may see in the end of the month, we may be seeing some of those, what they're calling like dark days or dark moments. So what that means is we don't know what's going to unfold. There is this real uncertainty, and there's a lot of forces at play, and not all the forces have good intentions. And it does feel like, I feel it breezing in, but I also see the divine coming up and kind of pushing it out. So we do have that is also happening. I don't know what's happening in like California, LA area, but I am also picking up, and I see it like it's swooping around. I'm seeing like a wheel spinning right here. And I feel as if I wouldn't be surprised, or if something is, and we pray for interventions, right? That something is like, it's almost like a real breaking open in that LA, somewhere in California, LA. It really feels LA to me. Something of, I don't know if this is water, or I hear breaking. So it could be breaking news, but something is breaking apart or falling apart. And then so it could be water or emotions, but I just swoosh comes in, this swoosh of energy. And I don't know what that swoosh is, but there's a swoosh of energy. So I don't know what's happening in that part of the world, but I'm feeling there's something that's tied to that area, that time, where it's just like shock waves. I got shock waves of energy. And I feel as if there's going to be a shockwave of energies that's really coming in into November, into, I want to say the beginning of November, but we're in October. So anything can change between now and then, but I'm feeling it over here. I got pressure. I feel like I'm underwater. And so there is a lot of deep dive, soul searching journeys that will be having to take place, self-discovering, self-awareness. What's the most important? What's the most valuable? And sometimes it comes at a cost to really, truly have to know what is most valuable, what is important. And I just feel like there is this sense of sometimes there's going to be, you're just going to see some people just saying, I'm not walking away from me no more. I'm walking away from this story. And I'm going to start walking towards my light, towards the truth, towards a greater truth. There's no certainty of truth, only over here beyond the veil, but a more, a bigger truth. I'm becoming more open. We're becoming more open to a bigger truth. And there is always a bigger truth. So there is something that is unfolding. And I feel like we got a breaking news story coming up, and I don't know what that is, but there is a breaking news story. This is probably one of the most craziest of energy updates. And anyone who's been following me knows after all these years, I do these unedited because you can't edit out a channeled message. If you're editing out channeled messages and you're doing a la carte and you're putting in only what you want, then is it all really a channeled message? It's in the moment, right? And so it's in the moment. So it's recorded this way and it's released this way, and the way that it comes and whatever it is, it is. And so we do have, like I said, I feel the presence of the divine. I feel the presence of spirit. That when we talk about the thinning of the veil, it's not that the veil, everything is always thinning, is that we're so acceptable and so interconnected and intertwined into spirit. It's as if spirit is rising us up, or it is coming into and intertwining into our own energy. So don't be surprised by the noises, by the entrance, by the presence of prisms of lights or divine lights, or thinking you're seeing something out the corner of your eye. Everything is happening right now. And I'm going to be in Newfoundland in October. And I'm so excited to be coming there. I'm so excited to be there during this powerful time prior to Halloween. But I look forward to being able to come in and deliver lots of messages from spirit. I'm also teaching a workshop as well in Grand Falls on the 20th of October. And then when I come back, I have one in Lacombe, Alberta on the 9th of November. So if you're in the Newfoundland area and you would love to come see me and sit in the power of spirit and be in the power of spirit in a group gallery reading, where I speak for spirit of whoever is coming, for messages for people in the audience, then I would love to see you there. I'm in Corner Brook, Gander, Grand Falls, and St. John's. Go to my website, which is in the comments below, or in the description below, and you can go to my website and it'll link you directly to Eventbrite, and you can see all the dates. But it is between the 15th and the 24th that I am in Newfoundland. So I look forward to seeing all the people there. But for all the rest of you, thank you for being here. To everyone, thank you for being here. And if you like these videos, please subscribe. This is going to be a crazy ass month, a good month, but filled with, just know that you're going to be discovering bigger, deeper, newer truths. Things are going to be revealed. Secrets may be coming up and out on a massive scale. You may find yourself moving forward, but don't quit. Don't back down right now. We are so close. So if you've been thinking about quitting, walking away from something, it could even be, a relationship that's been going through some challenges or some changes, unless it's abusive, unless it's very toxic and unhealthy, then maybe you need to look at that. But always truly, discernment is needed. Discernment's needed. I'm speaking collective energy. Sometimes, in your dreams, your goals, you're so close and it just feels exhausting. You feel like you just want to back away and run away. And we're so close that it's always that last quarter mile is the hardest. This October, we are at a quarter mile mark. This is in a full 360 circle. We are in the last quarter. And so this is a last quarter journey. whatever's happening, whatever we're going through, we are in a breakthrough, a glow up, a breakout, whatever it is on the other side of all of this. And we're about to move into, it doesn't mean everything will be pretty or perfect. It just means change is on its way. We are so, and that's when shadows, that's when the shadow and the darkness and our own deepest fears start to try to push us back and push us away. Because what happens when we know a truth, what happens when we step into our light, what happens when we become our true authentic selves. We're so close, yet it feels so far, but it is closer than you think. Don't give up. I send you so much love. Have a beautiful October. Bye-bye.